Hey, it's me, Erica, here at DRB, and I have been looking forward to kicking off my YouTube channel, The Erica Joy Effect, and particularly the Build and Bloom section, which is the section dedicated to building in real estate in the Charleston area and beyond. Just come to some realizations that I wanted to share with others that I thought might be helpful. So, a little bit about me. If you don't know, I was a teacher for a number of years. I moved to the Southeast from the Northeast, from New York to South Carolina, Charleston, in 2006. Where I was a history teacher, secondary education, so 6 through 12. And my first job was at St. Andrews Math and Science teaching middle school. So that is just a little bit about my background. Taught for a number of years. I loved it. I loved the kids. I learned a tremendous amount about this section of the country. Eventually, I switched to administration. Right before, I would say 2018, 2019, I had gotten my real estate certificates and wanted to make a change for a number of reasons. When COVID hit, that was actually my first year in new home sales. So just a little bit about my background there. I really encourage, if there's any others out there who are thinking about making the change, do your research, to go for it if it's what God has put onto your heart. There's going to be ups and downs. Financially, it was major, both good and bad. So a lot of factors to consider, and it really depends on where you are in terms of finances, time, if you have other things that are taking, other obligations, children. I've heard for many different people that real estate agents, or the best real estate agents, were teachers or were in food and bev, which I think is interesting, and it's two somewhat very different continuums that I think of. As a teacher, I think of, like, I don't know, Miss Frizzle, or I don't know, just like a little church lady, maybe. No offense to church ladies, I love them. And bartenders and food and bev people, I think, like taking their breaks and smoking their cigarettes and like working all night and then partying after work, also awesome, but just two different continuums, you know what I mean? And I thought, well, that's interesting. And I've heard that many times. So I thought to myself, well, what is that about? And as I've learned kind of to find my style of being a salesperson, I've found that my background in teaching actually has had a significant impact, and a positive impact, on my ability to connect to others, to listen, to identify problems and solve them. Really, it's a scientific method to understand objections and then overcome those objections. A lot of times it's listening. People want to be heard, just like kids want to be heard. And the same with administration. I did teach in public schools, but I was an administrator and a teacher for a number of years in a public charter school. And I think that experience actually prepared me somewhat for sales in a different way. So we know the kids are zoned or allocated to certain schools, and so you already have your customers there, right? But in charter schools, you don't really have your customers. So you have to promote the school, and you have to show the great things that school is doing, and the superior programs, and the social portion, or this athletic portion, if you're an athletic charter, whatever it might be. But my point is that there's probably something in your background, if you're really interested in entering into real estate, that does align itself well to some of the skills that you need to be successful in real estate. And I would encourage you to figure out what some of those are and grow them, because that will only help you and give you the confidence that you may need, especially when you're first starting out. I did struggle a bit to find people that I could identify well with, people that I looked up to, that I respect, and that I wanted to know what they were doing and try to do that. I'm not for everyone, and no one is, and you can't please everyone, but you can find a circle of people who maybe inspire you. And I would also encourage you to be around those people. And if you'd like to join my circle of people, I love to connect and meet, and I would be thrilled to do that. So little bit there that kind of struck me, and I wanted to share with you. And then the other thing is, and this is the same, I found this to be the same. One of the reasons, one of my whys, is that I truly believed that I could catch children before it was too late. I know that's morbid, and it's never too late. We know this. But I thought in middle school and in high school, there's so many transitional times. There's so many crossroads, and so that was something that I wanted to be a part of. I wanted to help those kids. And where was I going with this? No idea. Maybe it'll come back to me. But it was something aligning with real estate. Oh, that's where I was. So in school, when I was a little kid, I was told things that just weren't true. And it really makes you think. It makes you, especially as a child, think that those things are true because they're coming from your guidance counselor, or they're coming from your principal, or they're coming from your teacher. And, they seem to know what's going on. They seem to know what they're doing. So if they say I'm not a good reader, if they say I'm slower, if they say I'm gifted, then I must be. And you kind of turn into that. Of course, as adults, we've learned, hopefully, that we question those things. Who told you that? Where did that thought come from? Are those true? Are those, those type of things. But back to real estate, people still love to say who can sell and who cannot. And those things are external, and those things honestly have more to do with them than they do with you. So if you are starting off in this business and you think you have what it takes, but maybe you're not seeing that in your paycheck, or maybe you're not feeling the support from your management team or from your colleagues, I want to encourage you to keep pushing forward. There's something special inside of you, and everybody doesn't see it, and they're not supposed to. And that's hard sometimes. But if you have something special inside of you, if there's a dream inside of you, if there's something inside of you that's pushing you to pursue a dream, be in real estate and something else, you can do that. And I would encourage you to continue that process. And oftentimes we think processes kind of go like this, or maybe they bomb, but sometimes they tend to go like this. And I just want to share with you, I've been through that. Again, if you're looking for a group of positive, encouraging, insightful, this might be a great page for you to connect with others, to encourage others, to ask questions. I have questions constantly, and maybe together we can turn it into something really powerful and fun and awesome. That's it. Thanks, guys.